Gentlemen and ladies, so I have a couple thoughts that I want to address this morning. It's not morning anymore. Some of y'all it's afternoon, but two thoughts. Somebody sent me a video from a young lady named Angela Stanton. Obviously, I know who she is. And I'm going to comment on the comment she made in the video and why I believe she's wrong. The second thing I'm going to talk about is why just because you're poor or you have less mean that you have to act a fool and be illegitimate as a person. Now, let's talk about the Angela Stanton video. Somebody sent me the thing about Angela Stanton. I'm not going to go into my personal opinions about who she is and what she represents. However, the statement was made that somehow Brandon Tatum and Candace Owens do not represent the black community because we ain't, convicted felons and spend time in prison. I don't know, sound hood enough, got gold teeth in our mouth or something. Somehow we are not qualified to speak to the black community as if the message that we have do not resonate with black people. Let me tell you why this is incredibly flawed as a thought process. You are essentially saying that black people are so one-dimensional that if a person is speaking facts and speaking into, speaking reality or presenting reality, that if they ain't hood enough or they cannot articulate themselves, that somehow black people can't hear them. As if Martin Luther King was a hood dude from with gold teeth and tats, sagging his pants, walking down the street, calling people the N-word every day. People had no problem interpreting what Martin Luther King stood for. No, they had no problem interpreting what Frederick Douglass stood for. Have no problems interpreting people who were prominent figures in our society, Malcolm X and all these other people who they didn't sound hood. Malcolm X didn't sound like he was from the hood and all this other stuff. Malcolm X wasn't, with the people and all this stuff, man. Like, it's an excuse. If I tell you 2 + 2 is 4 and you don't want to hear it because I'm not hood enough, or you don't want to hear it because I'm white or I'm Asian or I'm a woman or what, it's your problem. I'm not here to kiss anybody's rear end, and I don't believe kissing somebody's rear end is the subject matter in which people succeed through. Like, for instance, I don't want to hear people tell me about success that ain't doing better than I am. So how can I tell you that there's a better way out and I ain't in no better position than you are? How am I going to come to your neighborhood and I live down the street and we all broke and I'm going to tell you, you know what, there's a better way out. Let me teach you. They're going to be looking at you like, bro, you're not even doing well. You're not even successful. So how are you going to tell me something that you can't even do? And I can go into any hood I want to go into. And I can tell and preach the true message of Christ, the true message of success, hard work, perseverance. I can do all of that stuff. And I don't have to be from Philly. Now, this is the reality that people don't want to talk about, is there is a level of ignorance rooted in some of these minority communities that they are blinded. They've been brainwashed to believe that if you don't look a certain way or act a certain way, that you somehow is not representative of the black community. I have tons of black people that follow me. I have people who are, I like to call them Americans of African descent, who message me every day saying, hey, you woke me up. I'm from the hood. Some people from the hood I grew up in. And they talk and they say, bruh, you speaking facts. You telling the truth. The truth hurts. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of our leaders are not talking like they didn't go to English class. And I have to say, man, I'm not perfect in English. I don't always speak proper English. But I do think the message will resonate with people who want to hear it. When I was growing up, there were white people who were saying stuff that I was like, dang, that's cold. Like, I'm learning from that. My high school football coach was white. A country white man from Nebraska. He didn't have a hood bone in his body. But he taught us a lot that we could learn from, and he built a program better than any black coach ever at Paul Laurence Dunbar High School. 9 D1 athletes, 4 of us were All-American athletes. You know, he's a lot more, you know, he was a lot more, he resonated with us because he loved us, because he cared. It wasn't because it's slang speech. So I wanted to just talk about that. The second thing I want to go over is poverty and people having this mindset that just because you're poor, I mean, you got a pass that you could be an idiot or you could do things that are unjustifiable. I'm driving, my boy, my best friend need me today for his son, right? We're gonna give him some man juice, right? So, but when I'm driving through this neighborhood, and this is in a poor area, I stopped by, got me a drink out the store. It's in a poor area. You can see people are poor. And then there's something consistent with these poor areas. And I grew up around these poor areas. I grew up in these poor areas. People are the reason why they're poor, not necessarily their circumstances. Just because you poor don't mean you can't pick up the trash in front of your house. Just because you poor don't mean you have to have 6 baby daddies. Just because you poor don't mean that you can be disrespectful to people and walk around looking like a hoodlum. When I didn't have no money, I didn't walk around making excuses and looking crazy. I did the right thing every day, one step at a time. I made sure that I wasn't breaking the law. I made sure that, you know, I'm compliant. I got my registration done. I got all my traffic stuff done. So when I'm operating a motor vehicle, I don't have any issues with anybody. I'm doing the right thing. You know, when I go places, I believe in first impressions. So I present myself reasonably because I want people to view me as a reasonable person. When I lived, wherever I lived, there's trash in my front yard, there's trash in the street, I pick up the trash. I don't like my street looking junky. I don't like my community looking run down. And your money have nothing to do with that. When I was a cop and I used to go into these people's houses because they're abusing their kids or whatever the case may be, they all nasty. Junky, nasty, you know, stuff everywhere, trash on the floor, beer bottles everywhere, dishes smelling like, you know, like I'm at a landfill. Why just because you poor or uneducated don't mean you can't wash dishes? You can't clean up the floor? You can't put the beer bottles in the trash can and take it to the trash? That's free? It's people's decision making is what put them in a position to be where they're at. If you change your decision making, you will change your environment. I also have been to trailer homes, trailer parks, where people's trailers look better than houses that I've seen. It's neat, it's clean, they got the dishes there, they got the pictures up on the wall, they got it smelling, they got some candles in there, they're smelling good. So just because you live in a trailer park don't mean you got to live in a trailer home, don't mean you got to be junky and nasty. So these are things that I wish that we were. I was on a debate the other day on Elijah Schaefer's page with 2 guys that were, I don't know what these leftists think. They want to tell me what it's like to be black. Oh no, Brandon, the statistics say that I'm like, bruh, I grew up in the neighborhood full of black. I grew up around black people consistently. All the way through I was 18 years old, 18 years of my life. All of my family is black. I got the spectrum. I didn't meet the highly successful part of my family until after my grandfather died. But like there's a huge swath of people in my family that are poor. One of my aunties' house, my great aunt, her house had roaches in it. Roaches everywhere. We used to hope they don't fall off the roof on us when we sleep. And when you go in the kitchen, they run and run and you just rinse the dish off. We spend the night over there all the time. And this guy trying to tell me that, oh, we need better transportation in the inner city and give people cars. Socialism doesn't work. I never knew a person in the hood that didn't have a car. I never heard of such a person. And if the bus come pick you up, you don't live too far from your school. And if you can't, you get a ride with somebody and you walk to school. What statistics are you reading, bro? I lived it. I went to an all-black school. where people was pulling guns on each other in the parking lot. And you also had people at the school who got academic scholarships to Texas A&M, to UT Austin. So you had the same school in the inner city, in a poor area, gang bangers in the school, pulling guns on each other, shooting dice in the bathroom. And then you had people at that same school that were successful. What's the difference? It ain't white supremacy. It ain't systemic racism. It's that Amber's parents, and that's a girl named Amber Harris. I remember her. I used to like her back in the day. Amber Harris's parents wanted her to have a great education. They pursued excellence. They made sure that she had what she needed. Amber Harris's parents did that for her. Brandon Tatum's parents made sure that I was doing what I was supposed to do. I graduated. You know what I'm saying? I went to college. All the brothers on the team come from California, everywhere, all around the country. Mostly Texas and California. I graduated. My boy that I'm with right now, he graduated. We got our degrees, even though we play football. But there's dudes that went to prison after playing football with us. There's dudes that didn't graduate. There's dudes that failed out. Why? Is it systemic racism? No, it's because we went to school. We got our grades. We went to the tutoring like they told us to do. We actually wanted something better for ourselves. And the white liberals and racist liberal America and these brain dead black people, they don't want to be accountable to their own actions. They want the government to tell them. They want the government to be the problem. They want redlining to be a problem. They want systemic police racism to be a problem. Most black people are not poor. Most black people don't interact with the police like that. Police normally only interact with crooks. And if you live in the hood and you doing something, like for instance, I just drove through this, I'm in South Phoenix, by South Mountain. I drove all the way through this poor neighborhood. I haven't seen one cop. I haven't seen one police officer. And I have been driving through this neighborhood for probably, I don't know, 15 minutes. I stopped at the store. Dudes in there looking all kind of drugged out. I see not one police officer. Police officers aren't really that prevalent and present. There's not enough of them. Most police departments, if you are packed police to the cap, you're topped out as a police department. There's only 2 cops per every 1,000 people. So that's 2,000 people. There's only 2 cops. Do the math. Cops are not on every corner waiting for you to commit a crime. 80% of people who get DUIs, who are drinking and driving, never get caught. 80% of people who are drunk driving won't get caught. Most people who are stealing, robbing, raping, killing, they don't get caught. You know, if you don't report it, you don't get caught. If we don't have enough evidence, we don't get to the scene, whatever case may be. There's a lot of factors there. But these dumb people are trying to make it seem like the police are what's stopping us from growing and succeeding. That's not true, man. You wake up in the morning every day and put your pants on and make decisions for yourself. You know, that's the same thing with church. A lot of people are sitting up at church hoping that God saved them on a Sunday morning. Like, you need to have a relationship with God year round. You need to have a relationship with God all week. The only time you read your Bibles is Sunday. Like, these are the things that I think people need to expand their thinking on. And let me say this real quick and then I'm done. Because you have people saying, oh, Brandon, why do you call people ignorant and stupid and stuff? You're supposed to be a Christian. It's like, I don't know what cookie cutter, watered down Jesus y'all talking to. I'm not saying that you're supposed to be evil and hateful to people, but you have to call out crooks when they're crooks. You have to call these people out. And there's no reason that you can't use dictionary words to call people what they are. The Bible says you shall know them by their fruits. So if you are producing ignorant fruits, I'm going to call you ignorant. If you are producing stupid fruits, I'm going to call you a stupid person. If these are the things that you're doing, I'm going to call you for what you are. If you're a great person, people don't mind me touting that people are great and that you are successful and I love you and I support you and that you got a brilliant mind. So we supposed to just, if only say positive things about people. What world are you living in? You got to call people out when they're doing evil things. When the Antichrist comes to the world, are you supposed to act like you can't call him the Antichrist? When your pastor do something you're not supposed to do, you can't call him a false prophet, which the Bible describes who false prophets are. When the Pharisees were hypocrites and all these different things, Jesus didn't call them hypocrites. And I don't know what he said in Aramaic or whatever the original language is. It's translated to English word hypocrite. And there's probably other words, but in the Bible, most of the time they translated what Jesus said as English word hypocrite. Now, I don't know the power of hypocrite 2,000 years ago. Apparently, calling somebody a hypocrite will get you killed. Do you not read the story of Jesus? Calling somebody a hypocrite will get you killed and get you put on a cross, crucified. So I'm pretty sure that wasn't very nice of Jesus to call them hypocrites and untowards and vipers and all kind of stuff. What's a viper? Like, we know a viper to be a snake, but the slang word for viper, or the Aramaic word that we translate to be a viper today, I'm pretty sure that was a pretty significant word that they kill you over, stone you to death. Y'all not reading the same Bible. You know, Jesus was telling people they going to hell. Jesus called Peter Satan. You know, Jesus told the Pharisees that, or the Jews, some of the Jewish leaders that were hypocrites, told them that their father is the devil, and they're the son of the devil, that they worship the devil. I mean, those are harsh words to tell people, but Jesus did. I don't know. I don't understand what Jesus y'all talking about, man. And I feel like everybody trying to be soft because they don't like what you say, and they don't like stop trying to use religion to coddle you. The reason why our society is so told today, because nobody want to be honest. The reason why I'm popular is because people don't want to be honest. Like, I'm like one of the only people that's being honest. I'm just keeping it real, and I'm incredibly popular because of that, which is a shame to a certain degree, because everybody should be saying what I'm saying. Everybody should be keeping it real, but they don't. So I need to go into this place. You know, I'm finna, you know, link up with my best friend, man, and we finna give some man juice to his son. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what men's supposed to do, man. We got to rally together and be there and support our boys, our young men, because they will be lost without their fathers. Mamas are cool. We love you, mamas. Thank God for my mama. I wouldn't be here without my mama and my dad, but my mama not being involved, I wouldn't be who I am today if I didn't have both of them. However, if you don't have a daddy and you're a young man, and you don't have a male figure in your life, you don't have a male role model, you don't have male influence, I mean real men, you're going to be lost. You're going to have identity crisis. And I know none of y'all do this, but there are some women that think that they can be mama and daddy. And some of them have to be mama and daddy. Don't get me wrong. If you're a woman that have to be mama and daddy, you do the best you can. Kudos to you. I support you. But if you're a mama that think you want to be mama and daddy because you don't like his daddy, then shame on you. You know, kids need to be around their fathers, because that's the only way they'll know their identity. I missed a lot of my identity because I didn't know my grandfather. I didn't know my great grandfather. I didn't know those men on my mama or daddy side, and it left a gap. It left a slight gap in me, because I know my father and I know who he is, but I wonder how my dad become who he is. Who was the man behind my dad? Who was the man behind my daddy's dad? Now, I looked them up on the Ancestry, but I didn't know them. I long for knowing who my grandfather was. You know, I met him towards the end, but I wish my grandfather would have put generations of, you know, success and knowledge into my heart. I only got my daddy to do that. And so those things leave a gap. So that's why it's important for men to be in their kids' lives. And hopefully God let me be alive when my kids have kids. And therefore I can be the grandfather and fill the gap in. Who was your daddy? This is your grandfather. This is who your great grandfather was. Here's pictures of your great grandfather. Here's his accomplishments. Here's what he left you in inheritance or whatever. Those things are important. And that's something that I feel like in the black community is missing. And maybe the white community have this more than the black community does. And that's why there's generational wealth. That's why there's generational success. That's why, you know, the income gap or whatever is because you got to pass these jewels down. So let me get up out of here before I end up missing what I'm here to do. So I love you guys. I appreciate you. I'll see you on the next one. I'm out.